I've got my selection tool. Select the text box and click right on the red plus sign. Now check out my cursor. I've got little text that's following me around. Now I'm going to be careful not to click anywhere just yet, but I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Now wherever I click and drag, it will make a text box and it will place the rest of that text into there. So if I zoom in, I can highlight this text. All of this text is linked together with this text. Pretty cool? Very, very easy to do. Here's another thing to notice. How many columns is this one? 3 columns. How many columns is this one? 1. Your linked text can be different column widths, column setup from your main text. That's totally okay. If I wanted to, I could select this text box. I can change the number of columns to fit things in there. That's okay to work with as well. When we get into spacing things around advertisements, you'll start to see it's a lot easier to keep them in the original column text. Don't use bastard measure. But from here, I can click and drag, and now all I have to do is change up the size of my text box to make it fit, right? Of course, I can clean up my widows and orphans. So there's that. Let's add a title to this one, a headline to this one. So if this article is Marathon Bombing Investigation, what would be a good jump title? Investigation. G-A-T-I-O-N. I do give you some paragraph styles. So here's a headline with a serif, and you can make it bigger, make it take up the 2 sides from there. So investigation is my headline. Move that up. Now I've got that quickly and easily reformatted from there. Cool?
So you want us to be as brief as we can?
Yep, be as brief as can. Here's why. Because now we've got to design the jump on the front page. And for the jump, in your instructions, let's go up here. So I want you to link to it. I'm sorry, on the first one. Jump should include the words see whatever the jump title is on page 2. So the briefer it is, the easier it will be to keep that. I don't want you to edit or change anything on these front pages. Everything stays same spot. Jump it from where it is. Let's design us a jump. To do this, just like with our headlines and our cut lines, I'm going to give myself just a new text box. And so I want it to say see investigation on page 2. If I wanted to, I can highlight that. Maybe we'll make this one a sans serif bold font. That looks really good. If I was to place it into here, I would place it at the very bottom of my article, right there. I'm going to highlight it. What I want to do, let's put it on the right hand side. So now it's over there. I do need to turn on my alignment so it's aligned to the grid. There's my jump, right there. The jump needs to line up with the bottom of whatever article that you have. Does that make sense? So in other words, don't put your jump like right there. Let it line up with the bottom last line that you have on that last leg from there. Another thing a lot of people do, I'm going to bring this up a little bit, is they'll have a line, a rule, kind of dividing that off. Here's a great tip. I'm going to use paragraph styles to draw off my rule because really all I want to do is just type it out and have it automatically set up for me. So I'm going to highlight my text, got my paragraph styles pulled up. If I click to make a new one, there's my new paragraph style. It's automatically picked up all of the formatting I've done right here. The bold, sans serif, aligned to the grid. One of the options I get is a paragraph rules. And remember, rules doesn't mean regulations. It means lines, paragraph lines. I can put a rule above or below my text. Right now, I've got rule above. We'll turn it on. And you can see, it by default, it's actually right there along the line. I can change the weight of it, the style of it, so maybe I want it to be a little thick, thin line. Let's make it a little bit thicker. There we go, so we can see it. The offset right here will allow me to move it up a little bit. So you can see I can make a rule that goes a little bit above it or below it. As far as the width of it goes, you can see it's going all the way across my column. If I wanted to, I can have it just go above the text. So however long my text is, that could be one. I'm going to keep it at column. And also I can keep it inside of a frame. That way it doesn't get too far out of line with that one. So the paragraph rule will automatically draw a line to everything that I have. If I say OK to that, let me tell you what, let me give it a name too. So this is jump style. So now I've got a paragraph style for jump style. Check this out. For my next one, brain surgery, all I've got to do is type out C surgery on page 2, highlight my text, and in one click, now I've got it all formatted with my line and everything else that goes along with it. All I've got to do is put it on my page in the appropriate spot. Pretty cool. Very, very easy. Use your paragraph styles to your advantage. So that needs to be right there. Automatically formatted for me. It works from there. Question on that? Simple, simple stuff? Okay. For this first one, link all of the stories on the front page to the second page. Just make them fit. Of course, when I add the jump, I need to readjust the size of that so that it fits nicely. Do the same for each article. Let's see. Make sure you're following the rules for stacking your stories. Make the most dominant one at the top, lesser ones as they move down. The final thing is, I want you to determine how much leftover space is going to have. Fair warning, you're not going to be able to fill up the second page with all of the leftover text. You will have some white space down here at the bottom. Once you're finished, type out how much white space you have left, how many column inches were left over. I've had anything from 20 inches left over to about 60 column inches left over, depending on how you formatted your headlines and your paragraph styles from there. Questions on exercise 1? Simple, simple stuff once it's finished. Here's page 2. Page 2 gets a little bit more tricky. In this case, I've given you some ads to work around. So in this case, you're doing the same thing. I've given you photos, I've given you all of these, and you can tell some of these need to be jumped. So we'll tell you what, we'll select this one, jump this page down to here, click and drag. In this case, I need to work out how much room is necessary to fit that one. And I need to wrap it or dogleg it around these ads. So I could do something like this. If I moved it down, text wrap is turned on, so I could adjust the size of this one, maybe bring it down a little bit more. There we go. How short should a leg be? Is that too short? You remember the rule for that one?
It doesn't need to be less than 2.
Less than 2 inches. Yeah, try to get it more than 2 inches from there. So if it's starting to look something like that, that's probably a little bit too short for an article. But this one tends to work out pretty good for that. It's flowing around nicely, and it fills up. Another thing to consider is make sure that there's a little bit of space between the bottom of your article and the ad. If I was to move this down, I'm just going to nudge it, keep going. Yep, you can see it starting to fill in. Sometimes these ads run, let's see if I can make it. Yeah, it was on this side. So that works. I'm going to just keep nudging it down. You see how the text is running right next to the ad? Try to avoid that. Give it at least one line of space so that everything clears up with that one. Does that make all clear with that? Cool. And I could run that around there. Let's see. There we go. As long as that's 2 inches, that seems to work out, and that wraps around nicely with that. Give yourself a headline. Make a jump from the front page. Whoops. H-E-A-D-L-I-N-E. Ha! Turned on my headline. Format from there. Figure out how much. For the second page, everything should fit nicely inside of here. Change up the size of your headlines, add boxes if necessary, adjust the tracking of your articles. Everything should fit from the first page down here to the second page. Which kind of brings me to the second thing. How do you make a story fit inside of this page? If you got your book, turn to page 98 and 99. I'll pause recording. For page 3, this is the final one. This is the hardest one. In this case, I'm giving you the stories and I'm giving you the advertisements. I'm leaving it up to you to lay out both the story and the ad. What did I say about ads? What should go on there first? Biggest ones first. So if I was to place these on here, I can let them stay right there. Oh, that's taking up too much room, so I'm just going to do that, right? That's okay? No, don't do that. Slap your hand. Put your biggest ones on there. Everything else tends to fall in place from there. You can make it pyramid style where they're all stacked up on kind of one side going like this. You can make it modular so everything is one on top of each other and try to line it up. Very difficult to do that. Or you can make it kind of a well shape. Taller and then get shorter and up to here. The book covers those types of shapes as well. Once you're done, jump them in, add things to fit if necessary. You can add photos if there's a photo associated with this one. I think, yeah, a couple of these do have photos associated with them to fill up the page. Questions on number 3, page 3? All cool? Okay. One last thing. For these, since your project requires you to lay out pages, certain number of pages. How many pages does your project need? Huh? 100 pages? You got pages and stories.
Oh.
How many stories did you have to do? All right, people. Okay. All right. Let's go back to the main page. Project story 2. 100 layout designs, 50 stories, and 50 pages. Okay, so 50 full pages that are filled up. The jump pages are going to count as 2 pages. Cool? So if you lay out one full page, the jump page counts as your second page for that one. Here's a great tip. If you've already designed out an entire page in one style, copy it and then jump all those extra articles to another page. Now you've got 2 more pages to work with. Make up your own ads or just little black boxes, give me an indication to fill them out. And that works from there. Cool? Does that make sense? Make it easier on yourself. Don't reinvent the wheel. When does this due? Due Thursday. I'm going to give y'all Christmas present. I'm going to let it be due sent on next Tuesday. I'll give you the weekend to finish it up. Cool? If you need more time to work on it. Now, it's due at the start of class on Tuesday. We're not going to work on this in class on Tuesday. You've got till then to turn it in. Hey, if you're done on Thursday, go ahead and turn it in. You got the weekend free. But I'm going to give you the extra weekend to finish that up and to turn those in as well. Don't forget about your book questions, your online questions. Those are still due on Thursday at midnight. Get those done right now if you haven't. Exercises are still due on Thursday as well. Only the project, I'm giving you the extra time. Okay.